right, let's all drop in, if you would please. Close your eyes, take a couple deep vertical breaths from above. Allow your body to settle into where you are in this moment. And every breath you take, notice your breath. Notice how it's your best friend in this body. Without the breath, you would not be. And drop in deeper as you open your crown center, breathing into your belly. Allow your higher self to come in and play. Come in and sit with you as you breathe vertically. Almakua. E como mai. We welcome the ancestors, the light of our soul, our higher self. We welcome all the angels and the guides in the Galactic Federation of Light, the Christ Council. We welcome all the ancestors of Hawaii that support this work of Pono, aligning to realign what is correct within our soul cluster. Almakua, Maikapoala, Ho'ikea, Maikeola. And we open this circle with the blessings of Ho'oponopono, the ancestors, and all those that support harmony and peace and joy on earth. And we acknowledge the light that we are in this body. We acknowledge the ones that are suffering in the world for their part. And we offer this work today to them, to our global community that doesn't have borders. When you look at it from the moon, you just see a beautiful blue-green planet, few clouds here and there, spinning in space. One planet. One human oversoul growing through so many bodies. We bless. We forgive. And we release all that doesn't belong as we do this work today. And we acknowledge the ones that have the courage to heal. It does take courage, discipline, and devotion to leaving the past in the past, the future in the future, and opening this now moment so that we can feel the light that beats our hearts, lights up our consciousness, provides us with enough energy to take the next breath, take the next step into the being we know ourselves to be deep within. Love in a body. Thank you for this blessing and for this circle. Hey, Mama. And so it is. Well, I feel really fortunate to be here with you guys today, considering how much chaos is going on in the world. We've got a reprieve here for a couple of hours as we breathe and open to our higher selves. Now, in all forms of healing, I think even allopathic medicine would agree that the breath is primary. Whenever you notice yourself, short of breath, for whatever reason, or breathing very shallow, you may find yourself in a loop of just doing what you normally do, thinking what you normally think. It's interesting how when we intervene, when we stop our forward thinking, our forward movement for just a few seconds, and we close our eyes and take a deep breath from above into the body, our frequency shifts and our reality shifts entirely. You could be in a grocery store, you could be in a class, it doesn't matter where. But there's a point of view that's growing in all spiritual paths that I'm aware of here on the planet right now through the conscious ones that are awakening. And that is witnessing yourself, being human. And it's a very powerful concept, idea, practice, very powerful. Because who is witnessing? You have to go through the layers with that one. Who is witnessing? Well, that's one reason I carry this poster to remind me. I have this poster also as my screensaver on my phone. So I remember who is witnessing. And when our higher self is allowed to witness our humanity in motion, there's a view that we are innocent even when we don't feel innocent. It's exquisite. Our higher self has no capacity to judge us because it is rooted in what is permanent, not what is temporary. In the Course in Miracles, they would say it's rooted in what's real. Because in the Course in Miracles, it is taught that nothing real or permanent can be threatened. Let's breathe that in. Just hold that and breathe it in again. Nothing real can be threatened. They make a very strong distinction between what is real and what is unreal. The second line in the Course in Miracles is so nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists, which means temporary. Because what they're wanting to do, what Jesus was wanting to do in scribing Course in Miracles with Helen was to balance the scales of our mental concept of ourself, which is if we can see it, if we can smell it, if we can feel it, if we can taste it, if we can touch it, it's real. That is our experience in a human body. Yet what Yeshua, wanted to show us in his choices to be crucified was that they couldn't destroy him. That's why he was begging for their forgiveness from the cross, because he knew that his body was temporary and his spirit was permanent. It's not any different for us. And so that's who's witnessing. It's our higher self, the spirit of our soul, that has descended from what you want to call, in Hawaiian, it'd be Po, the unmanifest. In Christianity, I guess it would be more like a heaven kind of frequency, descends into a physical body, and our soul gets another kick at the can at being human, learning to grow, learning to be who we are as this already in physical form. And the downside of that is that our physical form and the programs that it comes with are very limiting. It's almost like an outdated phone that has had many upgrades and you didn't acknowledge them. So we're here today to learn about these upgrades and how we can facilitate life is for giving. Life is for giving. Let's breathe that in. In one sense, as a human idea, life is forgiving applies to us helping others. We give of ourselves, our talents, our gifts, our love, our compassion, our dreams. We share that with our brethren, our brothers and sisters. And so in that regard, life is forgiving. But if we flip that and we look at life is forgiving, and we tend to go vertical with the idea that life itself is this immortal, eternal light, then life is forgiving looks entirely different from a human perspective. Because then we incarnate to actually give this to others through us. Life is forgiving. Life itself beats our hearts. Life itself provides us with infinite supply of food, air, water, shelter. All of our needs are taken care of by life. If we allow that to be so, and we've been fortunate enough to incarnate in a land where it is so. So the only thing that prevents us from accepting ourselves as this love that has been given us as life to run our bodies is to keep a vertical connection using our breath with what resides just above us. In the I Am Presence teachings, they say about 14 feet, that this whole cascade here is about 14 feet from your head to the Godhead of your soul. It doesn't matter. It's an arbitrary figure. Primarily, if we hold that in consciousness, then we are not alone. And that's a really good thing. We are not alone. And if you look at that word, alone, it actually spells all one. And there's the paradox. When you feel alone, there's a portal for you to feel all one. Now, feeling lonely is an entirely different experience. Feeling lonely is a human perspective that there's not enough in any given moment to satisfy you. Whatever it is, there's not enough of it. It's irrelevant. Because the truth of the matter is that there's so much more than enough. When you start thinking about 7.7 billion people on the planet, how many trees are there on the planet? How many stars are there in the sky? How many rivers? How many points of view? How many spiritual paths? There is more than enough on this planet of everything. And once again, this is the paradox, because millions of children go hungry every day. And we can forgive that. How can you affect that in your life? The first thing is to forgive it. The second thing is perhaps provide someone homeless with a meal. Because if you're not forgiving anything in your life, there's going to be a blockage of energy. It's just the way that this dimension is wired. If there's someone or yourself that you can't forgive for something, then that's where the energy stops flowing in that department in your life. And as you know, when the energy stops flowing in any relationship whatsoever, there's going to be more heva, more conflict, more trouble. So this is why Patty and I, we've decided to devote ourselves to spreading this knowledge, because in my life, it has absolutely worked miracles and still does to this day. Give me another metaphor. When things are clean and clear and open, when the road or the horizon is clean and clear and open, it seems that we can expand beyond the horizon to infinity. When the sky at night is clean and clear and open, the winter skies, and there aren't any clouds or city lights, we can expand to infinity and beyond in our consciousness, touching all the galactic federation of planets and galaxies and souls. And that's what Ho'oponopono feels like when it's being effective in my life. It feels like the way is clear to expand into a new area or into a certain direction. And you can feel when it's blocked. You can feel that. And this process that we're sharing with you today is a way of removing that block by addressing the mental concepts that you have put in place to create that block. As you know, there is so much fear in the world today because of the pandemic, which actually has become fear more than the flu. Sorry about that. And so, how to clear this fear and feel safe is once again through forgiving. Forgiving the ones that are holding the contraction of fear, forgiving yourself for holding this contraction of fear. And opening the way for you to be not only the blessed, but the blessing that moves forward in helping people witness their own programming and wake up to the fact this is the cause of the experience of their life. Has nothing to do with anything outside of you. The political heva we have been through in the States in the last couple of months, last week, is absolutely insane. And if you join the game, you become part of that insanity. Yet, if you take a step back and witness the game from your higher self, you start breathing vertically, you can see everyone's innocence. You can feel it in your body and you return to peace. And that's what this process is about. The sacred apology is about apologizing for any limitation you may have in your mind, in your programming, that is causing you any kind of suffering, inflammation, pain, blocking any relationship that you may have or be inside of, where there's only heated arguments and there isn't the bond of love flowing that you know is buried by something else. So the breath, vertically, number one. The witness, number two. And number three is the apology. I'm sorry. To your higher self, I apologize for not being as kind and generous as I know I can possibly be today with so-and-so or in a specific relationship or group. I apologize for needing control or needing to be right in a situation that has been blocked. Please forgive me. And then you breathe vertically. And you think of your higher self receiving your apology. And there'll be a change in your body. You'll feel the change within. And that's when you bring forth the lines of gratitude. Thank you. I love you. It's almost as if your God self is relieving you of the extraordinary tensions that can arise from just living in a body, living in our society, our culture today, which is in such duress. I don't know about you guys, but I can't watch the news. I don't relate to the propaganda, even the articles, even some of the stuff that comes through social media. You know, anything that's going to disturb my peace is not part of Wayne's world. And if something does disturb my peace, I practice exactly what I'm teaching you. I give it to my high self through vertical breathing and forgiveness. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry for allowing what appears before me to disturb my peace. Oh, thank you. I love you. It's that simple. What did that take? 1 minute? You could do it anywhere, at any time, with any opportunity that comes along. Someone cuts you off in traffic. The divorce proceedings aren't going well. Something in your creative life has just stopped. Maybe you get COVID, whatever. I was speaking to my brother who lives in Texas. His church had such a strong faith that God was going to take care of everything. They kept going to church and the whole congregation got COVID. Speaking to my brother after they got through it all, he blesses the opportunity because he's free now from the fear of the pandemic completely. The whole congregation got over it, and now they're all immune. And they're giving credit to their faith. Well, I'm writing a new song. I'm a songwriter, as many of you know. And I'm writing a song. It's the first one I've ever sat down that has some sort of social, political lyric to it. And I've been milling over this for days, how to present who I am as a reverend, who I am as a way shower and a keeper of the faith and the trust in our source to provide us and lead us home. And I'm looking at this lyric, and what came to mind after I closed off the lights, just sitting with a candle last night, laying in bed, just about to go out over the falls. And I hear this voice that says, "In God we trust." And what comes to mind is the God Almighty dollar of America. The backside of every bill says, "In God we trust." And I looked at that. And then I looked at all the heva going on in the political arena. Once again, observing the paradox. One would ask, how could God let this happen to a country that is printed on every single monetary bill and coin, "In God we trust"? And then I realized God had nothing to do with what's happening. It looks to me from a human perspective that our lack in trust that God would lead us home politically and socially, the lack of trust there has allowed our humanness and some of the qualities that we don't cherish in power. And once again, the greed has to be forgiven. It's a part of all of us. Just being in a body. So once again, there it is, an opportunity to forgive what's happening, because the only way we can influence any of what's going on, what we see as chaos, is to become the balance, to become that peace that we want to see in the world. And so that's why we're here today.